Welcome back to Rappahannock Issues. I'm Tom Cohen. I'm joined by Mark Dudenhefer, who's the Republican candidate in the 2nd House District in Stafford, and it reaches up into Prince William County. And we're going to reach into the topic of redistricting. There was a special session this past summer regarding redistricting about congressional districts. And it's sort of interesting that the federal judges are making some determination and the state has to go elsewhere. So what are your thoughts about redistricting in different districts?
The redistricting process, like it or not, is a political process. And it will always be a political process. I'm amused when I hear people talk about an unbiased group to get together or a nonpartisan group to get together and draw lines. I'll tell you there's no such thing. I can't imagine. You might find one or two people, but everyone comes in with their prejudices, their party, their everything, you know. I think that we've gotten by for, 200 more years doing it the way we do it. We need to continue doing it. We need to make sure we follow the law, and that's what the courts are looking at now. But the Republicans are doing nothing different than what the Democrats did before. So it's a political process. If you don't like it, vote out the guy that's representing you in the House.
Well, it's sort of interesting. The governor had appointed a special committee to look at redistricting and many other ethics and stuff.
Actually,
and yet now, and Governor McAuliffe now is funding a group to help around the country try to redistrict to get more Democrats elected. And the suggested plans that he gave to the judge were sort of to help his party. So it's interesting.
And if I was a Democrat sitting here and I was in the minority party, I would be telling you that redistricting and the way we drew the districts is the absolute worst thing. But the Democrats would be saying this is the party in power would be saying this is wonderful. What are you talking about? We've bent over backwards to help everyone. So it's a political process. You're not going to really change that.
And speaking of political processes, there's been a lot of friction between the legislature and the governor since McAuliffe was elected. And so how do you feel, or what do you think about that situation? Is it possible to get certain things done in this environment, or is it almost as though we've slid into the way of D.C.?
Well, I haven't been in the legislature while McAuliffe's been the governor, so I don't have any firsthand knowledge of it. So whatever I would probably say is based on bias, because I've heard it from my colleagues on the Republican side. But the governor is a very strict, very much more liberal than I'd say the body of the legislature is, and there'll be some issues that they'll never find some bridge to get to them. But there'll be issues that there always are. I'm quick to tell people when I'm campaigning is that what percentage of the vote do you think are controversial? And they look at me and they're thinking 50, 60% of all the vote. Well, no, 95% are nonpartisan, and you'll get upper 90 votes out of 100 on almost all of those bills. It's only that handful of usually social issues and some things like that. Obviously, judge appointments is a big deal now. So the Constitution, it's politics. You're not going to do away with politics. If you ever want to get anything, you got to be good at it, and you got to do the best you can. And I've made an effort to reach across the aisle. I've got some very, very good friends that are over there. We disagree on a lot of things, but you'd be surprised the number of delegates that go to dinner together after, when they walk off the floor after they've been pretty much yelling at each other for several hours. And it's an enjoyable way to do it.
And that's sort of, not to go back to transportation, the details, but that's sort of the history of the transportation bill. It was a lot of coming together and working with people from different sides on that.
Well, it had a tax part to it to get the money to actually fund the billions of dollars that are going into transportation. And there's some people who believe there's no circumstance you should ever raise taxes. And I'm a very strong conservative when it comes to that. But I also believe that my job is to improve the quality of life of the people that elected me, and transportation in this area paramount, and it's a colossal mess. And the only way we were ever going to see some money go into it was to attack it the way we did. There were some taxes in there I didn't like, such as the hybrid tax that they changed the year after I left. I can tell you the number of times I sat in the Secretary Connaughton's office and beat on him on that. And sometimes you have to get a bill through, and then you can modify it or whatever. A lesson I learned from the speaker very early on is Mark, just get a bill. You're not going to get everything you want. Just get a bill, and then the next year they're introduced to it. You come back and try and make changes, and you add to it, and then in several years you'll look back and say, "Oh, there's my bill." Pretty much the way it was when I started.
Well, we're getting close to the 2-minute warning. So is there anything that you would like to tell the voters as we head into Election Day, which is November 3rd?
Well, first and foremost is I'm very disappointed that my opponent wouldn't sit here with me and talk about issues. At a forum we were at last week, he couldn't name a single road in Stafford County that needed to be fixed. So it's very unfortunate that we sometimes have people who run for office who in my opinion, aren't qualified to do the job. They're young. They may be qualified in the future, but as of right now, they shouldn't. They should learn before they get a little experience, like old guy like me. But I want to get back and serve the people. I believe that when I'm elected, I represent every single person in the district, not just the group that elected me. And my door is always open. I give out my cell phone number, my private email account to anyone who says they can't reach me. And I tell them, call me anytime. And believe me, they do. They'll call you in the middle of the night if that's what it takes. So I'm excited about running. I feel good about the campaign. Again, I'm really disappointed that my opponent isn't here. He sent out his first negative mail piece today. And I'll tell you that I have a policy that I won't do anything in that regard unless you start it, kind of thing. So now we'll probably have a nasty campaign. I don't want it that way. I never planned it that way. So, but that's the way campaigns are run these days, right? So I'm going to win.
Cool. And what's your website so people can look up?
Website is www.va02.com, and my email address is delmarkd@gmail.com. I've got several, so it's always difficult.
Really,
Which one are we using this week?
Right. Well, and that closes us for this week. So I'd like to thank Mark Dudenhefer for coming. We urge you to vote on November 3rd. Stay tuned to CBTV. We've been having debates in different races, and we will have some more as we head into November. So thank you for watching us, and we thank you for coming on, Mark.